Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Field of Glory 2, which is a Ancients tactical combat game based, I believe, off a board game. It's published by Matrix and Slitherine Games, and typically looks at sort of the history of ancient Greece up through Rome and now with some DLC into the early Middle Ages with some looks at Byzantium. But today I'm actually going to be taking a first look at a brand new mod which is currently in the works. I don't believe it's completed yet. It is a mod that turns Field of Glory 2 into a Napoleonic battle game. So it allows you to fight through some of the famous Napoleonic battles, like I'm not going to try and pronounce the famous M word that is fought in Italy, yeah, it also includes the Battle of Austerlitz, the Battle of Quatre Bras, and I believe a couple of others. I'm assuming the list will grow because Austerlitz is on there and wasn't on there when I whoops, wrong place. When I first read the description of the mod. So again, I think this is something that is a work in progress. You can see here I've downloaded and installed the mod. It shows up under Epic Battles as Napoleonic. And when I click Launch under the Epic Battles, I actually have a option to select from the different battles. So there's different phases of Austerlitz, for example. Marengio, if that's how you pronounce it. 3 different phases of that, which is that famous Italian battle. Ekmal, Quatre Bras, and some testing and showcase. So obviously this mod isn't completely finished, but I did want to take a sort of a first little peek at how this kind of changes Field of Glory 2, and maybe, just maybe, makes me a little bit better at it. One would hope. But we'll find out here. So let's go ahead and play Quatre Bras, which was the meeting engagement between the Anglo-Dutch forces under the Duke of Wellington on was it June 16th of 1815, 2 days before the Battle of Waterloo. General or Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte's, the bulk of his army, is fighting against the Prussian main force at Ligny, and the British are sort of marching vaguely in their direction to come to their aid. They meet up with a portion of the army under General Marshal Ney, who has about 16,000, somewhere in that many men of troops to sort of delay the British from coming to the Prussians' aid, or potentially defeat the British. Napoleon sends a note to Ney to take the crossroads at Quatre Bras, and he could have potentially done that, and had he done that, it may have made Waterloo untenable, which could have resulted in a very different campaign. As it was, the British historically held their ground, held the crossroads, and eventually became numerically superior to the French by the end of the battle. So we'll go ahead and take a look here. Alright, so you can see here the objective of this battle, pretty straightforward: rout the enemy army, inflict at least 40% of their troops by routing them, and 25% more than I have lost, or rout 60% of their troops. You can see here we are playing as the French. We zoom out. I also have the mod that allows you to zoom in more closely, so I can actually zoom in really close to the ground to see the detail of the soldiers. That's something you can manipulate in the maps text file. You can actually allow you to zoom in more than the stock game supports. So you can see here that these are the French forces at our command. We've got some cavalry here in the rear. We've got some infantry up here in the front with some artillery. And then we have some reserves back here. So let's zoom out. I don't like that angle. And we're going to go ahead and swing over here. We can see the blue forces here in these Bassou Wood, as well as some troops out here in the open, are the Nassau troops, or the orange troops under the combined Anglo-Dutch army. Now, historically, at the start of the battle, the Dutch had about, or the British and Dutch and Anglo army had about 8,000 men. They were outnumbered roughly 2 to 1 by the French, but they would receive reinforcements. So my goal here in this fight is to kind of race forward here, engage the enemy, rout as many of them as we can, and hopefully do that before their reinforcements, presumably their historical reinforcements, come on the field. So we're turn 1. We're just going to go ahead and start marching some of these troops in the rear forward here, and we'll see about getting into proper position a little bit later here. You can see there are different types of infantry units. So similar to the Ancients battles, there are skirmishers, which are kind of, you imagine them like auxiliaries or like javelin throwers or things like that. And then there are mainline infantry units, there's artillery units, and that's kind of the gist of it here. So you can see here we moved forward our troops in the rear. We have quite a few of these French skirmishers, pied skirmishers, young guards, just sort of general infantry as well. And then we've got some troops in line. Troops in line are sort of your traditional linear combat soldiers with the skirmishers out front. Skirmishers not going to be good in a melee, but they certainly can pepper an enemy force and do some damage there. So we're going to go ahead and advance these guys here. I'm not really making much of a effort here to have a cohesive line at the moment. I guess I can correct that a little bit. One of the things I always struggle with in Field of Glory is if I make my lines a straight solid line, then I have trouble bringing up reserves from the rear, and that tends to bite me in the ass when I don't make preparations for that. So let's go ahead and move our artillery forward as well. Let's see, we have artillery. There appears to be a road. The map art is somewhat generic or basic, but it does the job adequately enough. So these guys forward. Then we're going to move some of this cavalry here. Marshal Ney is in command of this unit. Over here to the left, guard our left flank. We'll move 3 cavalry units over there. We'll also move up these reserve horsemen. Got some horse artillery as well, which I don't really know how significant that is. Let's go ahead and move some cavalry over here to the other flank. The goal is going to be to outflank the enemy. That's sort of my overarching objective. I don't know if formations like squares are really represented in this game. They kind of seem to be. I've played around with this scenario for a very short period of time before streaming, so there may be some, certainly should be some things that I may have not fully understood yet. You can see the engagement has begun. You can see these enemy skirmishers here are engaging our skirmishers, and now a line infantry, a line regiment has moved forward as well. Enemy artillery is hitting some of our line troops, and their forces are moving forward to engage us, but they don't have a ton on the map at the moment, so overall I'm not too worried. All right, so that'll be the end of that turn. We're starting turn 2. Need a better sense of map control. All right. We move this cavalry up here. Can't reach the enemy yet. We're kind of stacking up for a large cavalry charge here on this left flank. It's artillery. Guns, you can see there's a line infantry unit here. The line units, you can see, have about 1,000 men. The skirmishers have about 240. So obviously the line units are much larger. Order skirmishers. This cavalry out here. Out wide. Hopefully sweep in around the entire enemy line. But we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. We'll have a little bit of cavalry coming here behind the main line. In case the enemy does break through, then there's a little bit of a reserve there to help. You guys are good. We've also got this sort of reserve of infantry coming up as well in the center, should the enemy break through our lines. We know it's Field of Glory 2. We know I'm bad at Field of Glory 2, so odds are I'm going to get myself killed. But we'll see. I may surprise myself, or you, for that matter. Got these troops moving forward, this artillery moving forward. And now it just goes to use our artillery. I'm actually going to use our artillery against this enemy line unit here that's up front. Can't turn that gun to face these guys here. Can't shoot at these guys either. Guess we're going to go ahead and shoot at this infantry unit here in the open. A single casualty. Wow, that's not very effective. Wow, 49 though, so a little bit of an uneven result there, but That's okay. Alright, line infantry to line infantry. And then we've got some skirmishers on the flank of this line unit. So hopefully we'll wear this guy down here. He started with 1,080. He's down to 1,017. And no one in range there. Range looks to be 2 units for troops firing muskets. These have already moved. All of these. Alright. So that'll end turn number 2. So far, nothing decisive. We're trying to... Oh, Jesus. He just charged this infantry unit and did devastating damage to him. Apparently, flank fire is a thing as well. Oh, there goes our line. Well, it didn't take long in this game for my 94 casualties. It didn't take long in this game for the whole thing to start falling apart. And the enemy reinforcements have started to arrive. Alright, so we're into turn 3. They've already driven back our Fusiliers. I just exposed my flank. Great. Alright, so we're going to have to try and hit him hard. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and charge these skirmishers here on the flank. We drove them back. We've at least stabilized our flank with this massive wall of cavalry coming in over here. Guys, it'd be best if they could turn their front. Cavalry or artillery does quite a bit of damage in this game. Clearly flank fire right into those guys. Alright, so we've got reserves coming up here to stem the tide. You guys also can fire. So we've inflicted almost over 200 casualties on that one enemy unit to our front. Hopefully that has some impact on them. We'll see about bringing our additional reinforcements forward here. Artillery moves slow as hell. Alright. Flank the enemy with the cavalry. I'm trying to concentrate my fire where I can. There we go. Good hits there. For another unit that went free, we can charge these guys. Do a cavalry charge. Let's see how this works out. 45 casualties on us. Yikes, that didn't work. What about these guys? Can they charge these guys in the open field? That was about even. At least there's that. We'll leave the rest of that turn, I think. Tuh. How long till Matrix starts charging for this mod? I don't know. It's made by some guy, I think on the forums, named Justin. So I don't think this has any official affiliation with Matrix. And come on, Kushin. Matrix isn't Paradox. They do DLC a fair bit, but they're not, you know. Alright, let's see how this all plays out there. You can see the melee engagements are ongoing. We're getting a little bit better than we're giving. The problem here is by the end of the fight, if this is at all historical, then this thing is going to devolve very rapidly into us being outnumbered 2-1. And in that scenario, we may be in a little bit of trouble. Good God. If we're, you know, outnumbered 2-1, obviously. Can't shoot at anyone unless I turn the guns over there? Alright, these are skirmishers, so they're gonna run. Alright, so this whole wood played a real central role in the actual battle. And it's shaping up to do so here as well. We'll see. There's some enemy troops kind of hanging out in there. Maybe I should shoot straight on. What kind of... better casualties. Alright, so we're going to line up here for a flank attack, I think. Have the general guarding the flank. We'll bring some additional cavalry over this way. Advance our reserve infantry forward in the center. These first troops that we're facing, I really do think we're going to deal with them okay. They're not the ones I'm all that worried about. It's the reserves that'll come up in, I don't know, whatever the later on turns are. Really? What, do you know what game that was, Kushin? Alright. This engagement is heating up. Oh, Jesus. Artillery versus cavalry. Not a good idea for the cavalry. 88 casualties inflicted by their artillery against our troops in line? Man. Party sure is a pain in the ass right now. Alright, so far 0-0 in terms of casualty percentages. Looks like these infantry have formed into squares. So I don't know if that makes them more vulnerable to musketry fire, but we're going to test that out. Certainly seems like, I mean, they lost 90 in that last fight. It's unfortunate I can't hit them with artillery here. Ooh, I can hit them with it there. Enfilade fire. So how do they hold against cavalry? Yeah, they hang in there. They've lost almost 40% of their units so far. I think we just drove that cavalry off the map. Man, these troops are really hanging in there. Infantry charge against a square. Guess I would have thought it would have done more than that. 88 casualties. Jeez. The heck are these Fusiliers just invincible? Alright, so we just drove back those skirmishers. Hit these guys more with volleys. And then we're going to go ahead and charge these guys in the flank. Broke them, they're routing. Alright, so we've got these skirmishers routing. We've also routed this infantry unit. We're also going to charge. Again. The general that I just put forward there? No. Okay, my general's still back. Good. Alright, so we'll move our skirmishers through the lines as they're allowed to do. At least some of them. And we'll hit these guys at distance with some arty. 102, wow. Nice. Alright. That all works out. Enemy cavalry on the flank! Alright, so the British have lost 12... I think that means we're ahead by 12%. So those were some good actions that turn. Also, they have a history of turning a mod into DLC for the actual pike and shot. Well, that's interesting, given this game is basically based on pike and shot. Cavalry does not hold up well to infantry charges. That's an interesting sort of paradox. That's an interesting reality in this game. You would think men on horses would do okay against men on line coming against them, but apparently not. Alright, this infantry unit here is going to have to break soon, right? We just broke this other unit that we had on three sides. The goal has to be to drive these guys off the map. Alright, so I can't hit them with ranged shot as long as they're in a battle. Like a melee battle. So we just kind of have to keep charging them. It's 62 casualties for 14. That's nuts. Wow. That one's a little better. Alright. So these guys are disrupted. I'm going to have troops pass through this. Charging skirmishers, I would have thought they'd be okay. So, routed enemy troops. Okay. There you go. Routed another enemy unit here in these woods. Another enemy unit. Multiple enemy skirmisher units routed. Gonna have a stand-up fight here in the open with our reserves coming up. Okay, this is our... I don't even know what this... That should be a flank charge. That should get bonus, I would think. Alright, let's hit these main infantry units here in the open. Wow, that's interesting. That guy did better. There. Forward. Well, this appears to be Wellington's commander-in-chief unit as well, so the more we hit that, the better, because if we can knock him out, that'll go a long way toward winning this battle. Alright. Apparently the troops also run out of ammunition, which makes sense. That's definitely in the game for sort of medieval battles, although it wasn't something I guess I thought of being represented here. Well, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to turn their back to the enemy. We'll see what happens there. Alright, dispersed is good. They won't come back. Routed, they're running toward the edge of the map. They can reform. Well, that volley did nothing. Alright, so our cavalry is getting chewed up a bit here. Yes, of course they're being hit from the rear because I turned their rear around. Ugh. Wow. Okay, there you go. That was a very good melee for us. These guys have how many men left? They're at half strength. Flank charge with infantry should break them. And it does. Wow, those are some good pursuit casualties too. So the cavalry is pursuing them. Infantry finally broke them. And these guys... Alright, those guys are already routing. So we'll go ahead and charge them again. The general has fallen. Who's general? I don't understand. Was that our general or theirs? Casualties so far. The enemy has suffered 2,000 casualties against, well, over 2,000. 2,000 routing, 1,700 wounded, 500 killed. Where... Just trying to figure out whose general fell. Assuming it was theirs. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this first part of this first look at a Napoleonic War mod for Field of Glory 2, the Matrix and Slitherine game. I will throw a link in the description to the modification. It's made by James Manhattan, I believe it is, over on the Slitherine and Matrix forums. So if you're interested in the mod, you can find it in the link in the description with the instructions on how to download it and all of that. So far, the battle's going well. We have 0% casualties of our forces. The British have 23% on theirs, so I think that's pretty close to victory, but we'll see how things play out. We're on turn 7. We'll see how things play out in our next episode. Until that next episode, though, guys, thanks again for tuning in to this video. It's been a little while since my last episode. I talk a little bit more about that in the second part, but in essence, my wife and I had an anniversary. We went on a short little vacation, and I just kind of took the last week off, more or less, to just sort of chill and kind of get away and just sort of recharge the batteries, if you will. So we're back at it now. I apologize for the delay between episodes. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.